Okay. That's too hard. There's so many hands, sure.
Crispin, how do you get your hair so perfect?
I actually want to know the same thing I was going to ask you.
There's this gentleman by the name of Mephistopheles. How do I get my hair so perfect? I use product. It's a sort of clay that I use in my hair to help it do its sort of shining thing. It's by Sebastian. It's very nice. It's called crude clay. I highly recommend it. Does that answer your question? Okay, good.
Is anybody playing zombie force? Because I get this teaching on Martin.
Have you seen my zombie? I'm warning you, I'm developing at home in my top secret basement laboratory the 12-gauge crowbar. Total random offshoot. Anybody play Dead Rising 2?
Yeah! Play Dead Rising 1.
Creepiest psychopath in the whole thing. Call it out. The answer is Slappy. Brad Swaile. And I was Chef Anton. Don't worry, kids!
Yeah, that's what happened in the actual game. I got a lot of interesting responses to that. You made me lose my... Yeah. Creepy as hell. Creepy as hell. Yep.
Here, pick one.
Hi. Right here.
Good question. The question was, how weird was it to do the Death Note live action dubbing for the movies? It was totally weird. No, it was really cool. I mean, I was so nervous because we got to do the entire anime series, which was awesome. And I was really sad when it ended because it was such a cool series. And so I was really mopey that day, which kind of lended itself well to the character, I guess. You know, the insanity was mostly real. Why is the show ending? Come on! But then we got to do the live action, which was terrifying because it's one thing matching little cartoon mouth flaps, it's another thing when it's a real person. We all know how people speak. And I've seen enough really terribly dubbed, Jackie Chan kung fu movies to know that it can be really distracting. So, and like anime, they brought us in one actor at a time, so I kind of tried to make it as realistic as we could. I mean, obviously the character on screen was not speaking English, but well, thank you so much. I mean, they had a limited theatrical release of those movies, so a bunch of the cast and I got together and watched these things in the theater. And it was the first time any of us had seen them completed because we'd only seen our bits. Right? And I was so concerned. And then I watched it and I found myself like 10 minutes in, I kind of forgot that it wasn't supposed to be in English. So I was just giving mad props to the rest of the cast. It seemed like everybody kind of understood that if you go too over the top like you may in anime, it's just not going to work. It's just going to be weird. And the movies I thought were pretty cool, so I was really happy with how they turned out. Except for some of the story parts, because some of it doesn't turn out so good for me. But it was kind of funny too, because the actor that plays Light in the movies, almost every time he speaks, before he speaks, he goes, and then he talks. So I had to kind of put that into my performance, where almost every line at the beginning, just to match the little, because there's that little weird semi-flap at the beginning, right? Yeah.
Favorite line from Kamina? Well,
Who the hell do you think I am?
hey, how'd you know? That's pretty much it. Who the hell do you think I am? It's basically who becomes the great Saiyaman.
Am I ruining your life?
What's that? No, I hated every moment of it. It's just like, it was terrible. It's like, all right, do I have to come in? Do I have to voice act and get paid for it? Really? I would rather just sleep. Right, fine. Cuff me, take me away. blast. Now I get to choose. Pikachu, I choose you. I go to the swinging axe there at the back. It's not an axe, but you know.
What was the strangest thing a fan has ever asked you to do?
Are we talking things that are legal or otherwise? Moral or otherwise? Ethical or otherwise? Over to you, Crispin.
So I play this character in a show called Angel Sanctuary. And the premise of the show is that this crazy angel is in love with his angel sister. It's anime, right? So, and then what happens is the angel sister dies and gets reincarnated in a young boy, young Japanese boy, who's in love with his sister. It's anime, right? So I'm playing this crazy angel, and this is sort of early in my career, and I got an email from a fan. And I basically started reading the email and then went, oh! And my girlfriend at the time said, what's wrong? And I said, come over here and read this email. And the email was this: hi, I'm dating my first cousin. Our families do not approve. Since you're so familiar with these kinds of relationships, would you please contact my first cousin and convince her to stay with me? Nothing's topped that yet.
Does anybody have anything to talk about?
No, nothing that I can talk about in public.
I want to hear more about what you responded with.
Yes!
Are they still together? Inquiring minds want to know.
I think I ran. Yeah, that went in a little delete folder.
Oh, it's my turn. We're gonna go deep into center field. Black t-shirt with yellow stuff on it. Oh shit, okay, look. There's 2 black t-shirts with yellow stuff. Way deep in center field. Sorry, it's not personal. We will get to everybody, I promise.
Please don't promise that.
I heard that there was a story about you and Liam O'Brien being in a play together. Is that true?
Oh yes, actually the first time, I had started my career as a voice actor, and I got cast in a play in a regional theater in Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park, and the play was called Shakespeare's R&J. And it was a very hip play at the time. What it was an adaptation of Romeo and Juliet, but it was played by 4 Catholic schoolboys. Oh. This was done as like a New York in the park sort of avant-garde theater thing, but the adaptation was actually pretty good. It was a good short version of Romeo and Juliet, and the premise was 4 Catholic schoolboys sneak into a classroom late at night, find a copy of Romeo and Juliet, and decide to act out all the parts together.
Were they cousins?
I don't know, the Catholics into that? So we get there, and we all have to get cast as different parts, and one of the other actors there was Liam O'Brien. And that's actually how Liam and I met. And so I told him that not only was I an actor in theater, but I also did this anime stuff. He's like, really? Could you introduce me to the studio people? Sure. But the humorous thing about the whole production was who we got cast as. Liam got cast as Juliet. So for most of the play, he was Juliet. I got cast as his nurse. Which, if you know Romeo and Juliet, it's a very large part, Juliet's nurse. It kind of never shuts up. So there's actually pictures on my website, if you go digging through the galleries, there's some pictures in the theatrical productions, and you will see me and Liam O'Brien on stage in our little Catholic schoolboy uniforms. And Liam's being Juliet, and I'm being the nurse, and like petting his head. I also got to play Tybalt, so I got to be both the butch and the femme, which was good. And Balthazar, because no one remembers who Balthazar was. And but yeah, that's how Liam and I met, and then we went back to New York, and the rest is history.